the chairperson, facilitators here, I greet you all. Good morning. Students, how are you all doing? Do we have any journalists here? Do people aspire to be journalists? Oh, you want to be a journalist? Wow, you actually look like a news editor.
Wow. Can we see you? Can we see you?
Guys together for him. Oh, we have more journalists. Oh, wow. These are future journalists. They are the ones going to tell the story for us. Oh, great. Hey, Charlie. Wow. Thank you all very much. Well, most of the speakers that spoke before me have defined what career is. But when I was getting prepared for... Oh, please, you can take a seat here. Thank you. Boss. When I was preparing for today, there was something that I came across, a definition for career, and I just want to emphasize on that again. So we appreciate what we are doing here today. It says an occupation undertaken for a significant period of the person's life and with opportunities for progress. So it means that whatever career you choose today, there are opportunities to progress in that career. So you can start as an MD, and I'm sure when the doctors come and take over, they'll let you know that you can specialize in diverse areas. You can start as a broadcast journalist, a reporter every day on the field, and you end up being a producer, end up being a news editor, and you can even end up being a news anchor. So there's progress in every career that you find yourself in. So now, who is a journalist, or what is journalism? Now, a journalist is a person who collects, writes, and distributes news or other current information for public consumption. So what we do is that we go about to get the news. I don't know if you watch, how many of us pay attention to the news all the time? Good. When you watch GH1 TV, TV3, and other media houses, you see that there's something called breaking news. Yes. Breaking news is that it is sudden. It just happened, but it has to go on air. So whilst we are trying to get our facts together, whilst we are trying to get in-depth knowledge of what is really happening, at least we've collected some information and we are able to give it out to the public. That's why we bring it as breaking news. Now sometimes you also look at stories. So you watch a story about a young boy who keeps begging by the roadside all the time, and then there's a narration behind it. Now that is a news item, that is a story. That is something that a reporter has been able to identify, has gone out to get enough information about, and has come back to put the story together for you and I to know that there's a young boy who is supposed to be in school by now, but because of certain challenges, he cannot be in that school. So this is the story I share with you and help us get him to school. Do we understand? So being a journalist is not just communicating or talking or being on the radio and always looking for arguments. No, it is going beyond that. You have to collect the information, speak to people. Now it's very important to know that journalism is one of the professions that is really unlimited. I thought that when you're a journalist, once you read general arts, you are okay. But until you get onto the field, you realize that it's not just about the arts. It's about the science, it's about the law, it's about the fiction, it's about everything. Journalism is broad, okay? It is very broad. So students, you need to take every single course here very serious. Do you understand? If you want to be a journalist, you have to take everything seriously. Whatever you are taught, you take it seriously. And more importantly, you should be in tune with your environment, because it's your environment that gives us the news. Right now, if I should come on and start acting like a journalist, I can have different stories from today's gathering. And I can choose my story from, first of all, one of the speakers that spoke. I can just highlight him and he'll be my story. He'll be my news item for today. I can also come and walk in and look at these 500 children gathered here, and I can start my story by saying that over 500 students of God's Grace International School came to the ground to know what career is all about. So it's you reading, but also being in tune with your environment, because it's there that you get the stories. You understand? And there's something that we also need to know about journalists. We have a role that we play. And our role is always to make sure that the information we put out there is accurate. It is well balanced. That is what we are supposed to do as journalists. I can give an example. So if any of us have been monitoring the news, one story keeps recurring. That is the footbridge at Medina Adenta. How many of you guys are aware of that story? Awesome, awesome, great. Hey, Charlie, you are great. Put your hands together for yourself. Very impressive. So we all know what is happening at Adenta Medina. And just last week, Thursday, there was a young girl that was hit by a vehicle and she lost her life. As journalists, what do? It is not our responsibility to go and blame the driver and say the driver was overspeeding, even though that part can be accurate. It is not our fault to say that maybe the young lady that lost her life did not watch when she was crossing. No, that is not what we are supposed to do. What we are supposed to do is to look at what really caused the accident. And what are we talking about? Footbridges that are uncompleted. So when you listen to the news, that is what we keep hammering on. Nobody has talked about the victim. Nobody has talked about the driver. We are talking about something that is of national importance, which is an absence of footbridge. I was there on Friday where they had actually bent the ties. I went the following day to do a live report and we saw a lot of police officers there. Now the funny thing is that just at where the accident happened, there's a police station there. And most people were expecting that these police officers be deployed all the time to actually avert things like this. So they were surprised that it's not that it's happened that they are there. As a journalist, it's not your duty to take sides. No, yours is to make sure that the information you're putting out there is accurate and well balanced. I've done reports that has to be, I've done political reports. I will not come and say I go for party A or party B. What I have to do with my story is that once we are talking about a national issue, it should be accurate and well balanced. And these are parts of the ethics when it comes to journalism. Every job has its ethics. Every career has its ethics. For us here, for us as journalists, it behoves on us to be very accurate and well balanced in our reportage. Now, I also want to say that, for instance, if we are doing a story that has to do with a young person, okay, a juvenile, for us, we protect every juvenile in every story that we do. We had Madam Lawyer here. We have done stories that we always have to be at the court to hear judgment that is going to be passed concerning the stories that we are doing. If it has to do with somebody who is young, a juvenile, we protect that person. So these are all parts of what goes into journalism. It's nice when you see us on TV. It's nice when you hear the stories, but there are a lot of things. And the things that we do is that we always read. You always need to read. Every material is important for a journalist. Every good material is important for a journalist. When I was here, I was just remembering that we used to have junior graphic. And I was asking myself, do we still have junior graphic in the system? If you do have junior graphic, please read it. Always just get a copy, read it. Just know what is going on around you. Because that is what journalists do. Even if you're a doctor, it is very important that you read. You understand? Because me being a journalist, I can walk up to you and ask you certain questions. If you haven't read as a doctor, you'll be found wanting. Do you understand? It so happens with any career that you want to pursue in life. If you want to be a pastor, a lawyer, always make sure that you have enough information. You are abreast with it and you are always current. You should be in Ghana here as a journalist and know what is going on in the UK. You should be a journalist here in Ghana and know what is going on in the US. If I should ask right now, what is the current story or the running story in the UK? How many of us can answer to that? Pardon? Good. That is what is happening. Please put your hands together for him. Brexit. We all know about it. What about the US? What is happening in the US? If I should ask anybody, where are my journalists? Awesome. Put your hands together for him. He knows about the California wildfire. And that is the things that are happening. So you need to know every single thing around the world. I should be able to ask what's going on in Zimbabwe. You should tell me. Oh, true. There's something going on in Zimbabwe. Are you aware? Oh, there's a hand there. Hey. Yes, auntie. Please tell us. My fellow old student. Yes, please put your hands together for her. These are things that are happening. So as a journalist, you need to know every single thing. Every single thing. whether it's in Ghana, whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's in UK, US, even Afghanistan. You should be interested in knowing what's going on in Afghanistan, because you will never know the kind of stories you need to produce for your people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll end my talk here. I hope you've learned something for being a journalist and then the code of ethics when it comes to journalism. But when I was introduced, it was mentioned that I'm a founder of an NGO. Yes, it is true. I don't just work as a journalist. I'm progressing in life. And the progress is that I'm a founder of a non-governmental organization that seeks to educate people. You understand that the deprived people in our community, we educate them and we give them access to quality health care. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any questions, I'm here to answer, and then that'll be all for my talk. Thank you very much, Minister.
I'll put you